you made that, did you have that in mind that this was going to be the first part of an entire series? I mean, was that your hope, or did you just say, hey, I want to make this, this is cool, make it for church and have other people see it? And then, I mean, when did you realize that, hey, this is much bigger than this?
Oh yeah, no, I had no concept when I was making the short. But I will say I have done short films and vignettes for Harvest before. I had
Mm-hmm.
done, that's where I actually met Jonathan Rumi, who plays Jesus now in The Chosen. Uh,
He
we
was
had
at
done
Harvest?
yeah, it was a short film at Harvest called The Two Thieves, for our Good Friday services back in like 2013 or 2014. And I don't remember exactly the year, but we did a short film based on the crucifixion, but from the perspective of the two thieves. And
Awesome.
Jonathan had auditioned for one of the thieves because they were the main characters. Jesus doesn't even show up until the last 5 minutes. And Jonathan auditioned, and I've had these two other guys who were really good as the thieves, but I didn't have a good Jesus. And 10 seconds into Jonathan's audition for Jesus, I was like, oh my gosh, this guy's incredible. And then when we were filming it, I'm like, this guy's the best Jesus I've ever seen. Like, and I've seen all the Jesus projects, and this is just 5 minutes of screen time. I was just completely blown away. So we started doing that more. We started doing more short films and vignettes for Harvest. So when my feature film bombed at the box office, and uh, the plans to do more feature films with these big Hollywood companies who had gotten involved all fell through, um, I went back to the well and did another short film for my church.
Hmm.
And I remember when I was doing it, I thought, this is my wheelhouse. Like, I'm never happier as a filmmaker than when I'm doing these Jesus projects. And at the same time, I was binge watching shows with my wife. I would binge watch shows while I would work out. And I was binge watching shows like Friday Night Lights, which is a huge influence on The Chosen. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. And I was binge watching a show called The Wire, which is an HBO show, which, I wouldn't necessarily recommend to Chosen fans. But the whole multi-season, multi-character, character development, kind of the inner workings. The Wire is all about the inner workings of the drug war in Baltimore, and showing you the mayor's office and showing you the cops and showing you the drug dealers. And I just thought, that's never been done before in a Jesus show. There's never been a multi-season show. And the thing that makes me so compelled by these shows that you can't get in a movie or miniseries is the character development and the fact that you can dig deep into these stories. And Bible projects tend to be verse by verse, miracle by miracle. You never get to know the people who Jesus is impacting. So therefore there's this kind of emotional distance from all these encounters. And I just thought, I really think that there could be a really cool Jesus show if you really followed all of his followers and even his enemies, and really did kind of a multi-layered show that goes from season to season. I had that idea, but I didn't think anything would necessarily come of it. But very long story short, that short film that I was doing primarily because it was, I wanted to do it, but it was also kind of as the breadcrumbs left over from my big Hollywood failure. And it turned out, of course, as we know, to be the catalyst for it. Ended up shattering the all-time crowdfunding record. The notion of doing it as a crowdfund I thought was ridiculous. Would never work. It was an idea that our distributor had, and but I thought, oh, what have I got to lose? And I'm in this place spiritually where I'm really genuinely okay with never making another movie as long as I'm in God's will. And that's what the failure of my movie did for me, was brought me to surrender for the first time in my life. And so everything with The Chosen has been from that place of surrender. So I know that's a really long answer to your question, but I didn't, while I was making it, the idea came to me, but the notion that I would be where I'm at now, sitting, talking to you in the middle of season 2, and the impact and the reach that the show has had, I wouldn't say it surprised me, because I don't get surprised anymore. I just do whatever God wants. And then you've probably heard me talk about this. It's not my job to feed the 5,000. It's only to provide the loaves and fish. So if God chooses to feed the 5,000 with whatever loaves and fish I make, that's not a surprise necessarily, but it's also wouldn't be surprised anytime I give him my loaves and fish and he just takes them and says, thank you. And that's it. Nothing comes of it. So neither success nor failure surprise me anymore. I don't care about success or failure anymore. I just want to make sure that I'm doing what God wants and that I'm honoring his story.